So hi, this is Elsie Kearns, and I'd like to welcome you tonight to I'm welcoming Donna Kemper to our Eden Energy Medicine Telecoaching tonight. And Donna is not only an advanced Eden Energy Medicine practitioner, but she's also a hypnotherapist, works with EFT, and as we're going to find out tonight, Donna's done many other interesting studies, face reading, and you name it, Donna has studied it. So welcome, Donna.
Thank you, Elsie. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity, and thanks for everybody who's joining in. You're so lucky to have this. I wish we had an Elsie when we were coming up the road to expand our knowledge base.
Well, you know, this technology is so new. It is part of Google Hangout, but the beauty of this is that it makes an instant YouTube. So I will send everybody that YouTube link as soon as we're finished tonight. So Donna, one of the first things I want to ask you, because I know everyone is curious about just how you discovered and what brought you into Eden Energy Medicine. That's the first thing I want to know.
All right, I'm going to try to make it short because everybody's got a story, what got them here. So I was minding my own business with my hypnotherapy practice, thinking that was the be-all to end-all. And the series of events that had to come together for me to find Donna were quite extraordinary, but I will condense it to say that I got together with a friend I hadn't met with for a while who had just come off an Omega weekend with Donna Eden, who she had never heard of, but had one free weekend of the summer and decided to spend it at Omega, leaf through the catalog. This is the one that popped out at her. So you all remember your first experience with Donna Eden, how you were flying high after that. Well, it's very contagious. And she said, you have got to study with that woman. I know you're going to love it. Okay, I said. So I looked into it, and sure enough, there was her next 5-day training. Now, mind you, this is pre-certification program. So Donna showed up, and people showed up to follow her. So she was having something coming up in Miami in like a week. And I go, okay, universe. If I'm supposed to take this training with this woman, I'll be able to use my frequent flyer miles to get to Miami because, you know, at that late date, it was going to be probably exorbitant to get there, and there'll be room in the class. Well, both things happened, and there I was in class. And this is kind of funny. So I knew nothing about Donna, right? And let's just say she wasn't her most grounded that night. And she starts talking, and she's like over here, and now she's over here, and I'm like, I'm very metal, so I'm trying to follow all this, and it's not linear at all. And I'm saying, what the hell am I doing here? And then somebody said to her, how do you know that person needs this, that, or the other thing? And in her very humble way, she goes, did I say I see energy? And then I'm like going, uh-oh. Not that I didn't believe in that stuff, but it was just one more thing after she was all over the place. But it didn't take me long to become a believer and realize, whoa, this woman really does see it. She's really got something substantial here. And what I came to realize was energy medicine was the missing piece to my practice that I didn't even know was missing.
Well, I think we all have some similar experiences, and I can just add that the very first time I saw Donna, I watched her and I said, I don't know what that is, but I want that. And I think many people have had the same experience. So Donna, before we go on, I have a little bit of a slideshow, and I'm going to see if I can't sneak over here and put that up to talk about that before we go into some of the other questions. Let me see if I can go back here. There we are. Whoops.
There we were.
There we go. Share. And okay, I can see it behind you.
I see it.
Do you see it? Yes. It keeps going out. So let me try one more time. Okay, there we go. So for everyone joining us, and Linda, thanks for saying hi. The others that are on, if you have any questions, you can type them right in and I'll be able to see them from the chat. But of course, this is our introductory slide, and I'm really excited about having Donna join us tonight because I've also apprenticed with Donna in the past at the foundations and enjoyed being with her. I've shown this slide before, but I can never resist bringing it up again because energy is all there is. And that was said so beautifully by Albert Einstein, who actually ushered in quantum physics, but he just didn't have the language for it at that time. So here's Donna's great picture, and I want you to know that she practices in Woodbridge, Connecticut. Here's information on how you can reach Donna. And I also mentioned earlier that in addition to being an Eden Energy Medicine advanced practitioner, she is also in private practice as a certified clinical hypnotherapist since 1990. And she also works with the magical wonders of emotional freedom technique, and we're going to talk about that tonight. And Donna's goal, as it comments here, is to help others to help themselves in a safe, supportive environment. And Donna, when I was on your website, I thought this testimonial from Alex was so great because people that struggle with smoking, boy, to be able to release that habit in one session is certainly incredible. Of course, here we have our other Donna, Donna Eden, and she is doing that great cross crawl on stage. And I like to remind everybody in the Eden Energy Medicine practice that you really step into that grid. And I want you to call on the grid to guide you. And it's like a magical leader, just like Donna. I think I put this picture up before, but it's so incredible. It is a picture of the new wireless pacemaker. And this was actually in an AARP publication back in 2014. So this is some of the future that's coming. And I couldn't resist copying this. Here are prosthetics for kids, Star Wars, Disney theme, done by Open Bionics. And Disney has even relinquished any kind of royalties to have these be made. So I thought that was terrific. And I actually made a PDF of the slideshow, so you'll have this to look at for those watching on your own. And if you go into this website, it's just a very short YouTube, and it shows this revolutionary new material called micro lattice. It's the lightest metal that's ever made, and it's, I thought this was great, 99.99% air. They actually have a picture of it when you go in to look at the YouTube and see how it balances on top of a very delicate dandelion. Just below, there is a link that you'll also have on the PDF of the slideshow, and it's called the Abundance Insider. It is put together by Peter Diamandis, who wrote the book Abundance and also the book Bold. And every week he comes up with some revolutionary ideas that are being worked with out there in the universe. Just going back to our health as we come into winter and colder weather, I put this up before, and this is probably one of the best homeopathic remedies to have around. I never travel without it, and this particular remedy is before you get the flu. But boron has a number of other remedies, and they are leading products in Europe and also here in the United States. Boron, again, has been in business for over 70 years. The last time we did the workshop, we talked about some exciting books that are out there. And one of them that Jeff White highly recommended was Radical Medicine by Louisa Williams. So I wanted to show these again. In addition, Radical Remission, I thought has just been published in September about people surviving cancer against all odds. My favorite book is The Brain's Way of Healing. And Norman Doge is an MD. And this has remarkable case histories and all kinds of energy interventions. The last book is Uplifting Prayers to Light Your Way. And this was recently published by Sonia Coquette. She had a number of very significant losses in her life and decided to write this book on her journey. So recommend all of those. And I've had this up many times, just a reminder that as you give, you receive. And to remember that you are part of the Eden Energy Medicine grid. And there is never a time before that the world needs you more and your healing than right now. So I encourage everyone to hold yourself in love, honor, and reverence just as you are in the moment. Please remember the body is always the healer. You are the facilitator through the divine hands of God. And of course, the magic of Eden Energy Medicine. This slide talks about hiring the universe. And I encourage you to take these words and arrange them in a way that is most comfortable to you and your belief system. But it's an opportunity to reach out to the universe, to hire the universe, to set your intention, to offer your gifts, talents to the universe in service for not only the healing of humanity, but your own personal and soul healing. So you actually look up at the universe, the seat of all possibilities, and hire it as your personal business and healing consultant. You express gratitude in advance for that help, and you step back and receive the magical energy of universal wisdom. So just an idea for you. On the PDF slideshow that I send you, it'll have this last slide on there too, which gives all of the dates for our telecoaching series. And the fact that they're recorded, you can listen to them right from the comfort of your home. And it gives you information again on how to get in touch with Donna and also how to get in touch with me right here in Mount Laurel, New Jersey. So I'm going to take us back to Donna. And here we are back. And Donna, what I know that our listeners would like to hear about is how you've taken your clinical hypnotherapy and also emotional freedom technique and then integrated them into your Eden Energy Medicine practice.
Okay, so one thing I'll tell you is on my informed consent form, And if you haven't been through class 8 yet, you will find out more about that. But you kind of lay out what it is you do, what you don't do. But one of the, and then on my, so I list all those different modalities. The hypnotherapy, which was my first, that was my primary modality. So it is at the core of everything that I do. And I talk about energy medicine and EFT. And then on my intake form at the bottom, it says, I am here for hypnotherapy, even energy medicine, EFT, or whatever Donna Kemper deems most appropriate. And I have to tell you, no matter which one they check off, they end up getting a combination of all three. I can't help myself because they blend so well together. What is so great about my hypnotherapy background, when you're working with somebody with Eden energy medicine, whether you're doing a quickie balancer, a Brazilian toe, a black pearl, you have them in trance. They are not in their normal consciousness, right? They're usually in some relaxed, blissed out state, which is all hypnosis is, okay? So I use that to their advantage, okay? They've discussed their problems. I know what their goals are. So as I'm concluding, or maybe as I'm working, I start implanting the positive suggestions for them achieving their goals, whether it's physical wellness, whether it's more abundance, whether it's, you know, finding love, whether it's letting go of an unhealthy habit pattern. So I use that time to say, isn't it amazing how the body wants to move to wellness? And already all the forces in your body are coming together to integrate all the insights, all the learnings, all the awarenesses that have come about during this session. Your body knows exactly how to heal, and your body is healing as we speak. And even this process continues as you leave here. The body and the mind continue to process this information. In fact, when you go to sleep tonight, your subconscious mind probably gives you a dream to help further integrate these new insights and learnings, so that you find that every day and every way you are better and better and better. Every day is a stepping stone to achieving your goal of optimal weight, or being free of the smoking habit, or having a good, alleviating any breathing problems, whatever it is that they're trying to work on. You know, use that, and it's always in the positive, right? You don't say you no longer, you don't do this or you don't do that. You tell them what they do. So that's one way that I really incorporate it. The other thing is, you know, working with people, as you're shifting their energies, you're tapping into the emotional stuff. And that's my big thing, trying to tie in the emotional component to whatever it is they're presenting, because guess what? There always is one. There always is one. And to get them to see the connection, I don't even know what the connection is at first, but it just starts to evolve through your work together. And that's where the EFT comes in often very handily, because they might say, oh, I'm so angry about this. And you start tapping on the anger, and all of a sudden they say, now I'm realizing it's not so much anger anymore as grief. I really miss that person not being in my life right now. So you change your tact and you start working on that aspect. And then another aspect might pop up. So you keep, I'm always looking to get to the bottom line. Where did this come from? What is the source of this? And the hypnosis is all about regressing to the beginning. When did this start? So it comes in really handy to piece together the pieces of the puzzle, and to give that person the aha moments that they're really hoping to get.
So Donna, it seems to me that, and maybe you can clarify this in case people are not aware of this, but with the hypnotherapy, you're taking people into a deep level of their consciousness. And can you explain a little bit more the difference when you're working with EFT, the tapping that they're working on meridians and different key energy points?
Okay, so if you're not familiar with EFT, it's also known as the tapping technique, but you'll be familiar with the points that we're tapping on. They're beginning or ending points of the meridians that you're so familiar with. One other great reason to have memorized the pathways of those meridians, so that you know the beginning and ending points like that. So the premise in Chinese medicine is if something's not going right in your life, whether it's a physical problem, an emotional upset, a mental or spiritual problem, it means there's a disruption in the flow of energy in or around your body. Okay, so when we tap on these points, we are not knowing exactly which meridians are holding or affected by this disruption in the flow of energy. We could energy test them and really narrow it down. But it's so much faster to cover all your bases. And then you have the formula, because each different issue, it's going to be different points, different meridians that are affected. So tapping the points is like tapping the bottom of the ketchup bottle to get that liquid to come out. So you're tapping on the points while you say phrases pertinent to the issue they're trying to resolve. And it just clears it. It's when it works, it is absolutely magical. It just, you ask them what their level of distress is, and you can do this. I like this idea, actually, working with clients before you start doing a protocol for balancing them. Say, let me just ask you, how are you feeling right now? Because I'm always trying to get people out of their head trip and into their body. What is your level of relaxation in this moment on a scale of 1 to 10? 10 being I'm so relaxed, I'm a puddle of goo, to 1 being I'm so antsy, I can barely sit still. So what you're doing is you're getting them out of their head trip, you're bringing them into their body, and now you have something to measure. So at the end of the session, say, now, what is your relaxation level like now? Is it the same? Is it higher? Is it lower? And 99,000 times out of 100,000 times, they're going to say, oh, I'm much more relaxed. If it was a 4 to start with, it's an 8, 9, or 10, you know. And so for people who don't think that much has happened, if you tune them into their level of relaxation, they realize, oh, there is something to this. I guess something did happen, even if they weren't feeling the energy of it during the course of the session. Does that make sense?
Yes. And Linda comments that she has both hypnotherapy and EFT training, but she has a specific questions on how long are your sessions if you're combining all 3 modalities.
All right, so I may or may not use all 3 in one session. My sessions are an hour and a half. I just haven't found a good way. I mean, I have done hour sessions, but they always feel a little, it's amazing how they'll wrap up and tie up in a nice, neat little package at the end if you set the intention, I'm gonna, bring this to a good conclusion in an hour. But generally an hour and a half, because I actually also like to allow talk time for and people seem to want to tell me about their week or weeks since they've seen me last, and give me the updates. So, but you can still, do a lot of work. Like I say, if just in that Quickie Balancer protocol, get them relaxed, have the dialogue, and really the most important part is to get them out of the mind shadow. That's what's creating the distress. It's not any one event that happens to you that creates the stress. It's then the story that you tell yourself about it. Because the same thing can happen to 5 different people, and they could have 5 different reactions. And one person's going to make themselves sick over it, and the other person's going to go, oh, well, I'll figure it out. This too shall pass. And they're done with it. Mm-hmm. So it's all in the way you interpret it and the perspective you put on it, the spin you put on it, that's going to determine your response, how deeply it affects you or how negatively it affects you.
So Donna, if you have someone, and this is great because you just mentioned about their story, but if you have someone that just seems to be stuck in their story and can't move forward, what have you found that has been helpful in that circumstance?
Well, one thing I've done is refer them to somebody else. And this is how I get where I was having to run, and I'm happy to do that, okay? If I think
Right.
someone can do it better than I can. I was having quite a few people that were really struggling for a long time with grief issues. And even though they seemed to get some relief during the session, they would come back and still be stuck in that's poor me, you know, I just lost so many people, and that's all I can think about is how alone I am. So I refer them out to somebody who actually, if you want her name, she works by phone too. And they've all gotten great help from her. And sometimes they've stopped seeing me because they couldn't afford to do both. And then they come back, or they see us both at the same time, you know. I'm happy. I'm just happy they're feeling like they're getting what they need. But the other thing is, you know, from the energy medicine work that we have to keep going deeper into the different systems, that it might end up requiring a seed cell session or an assemblage point session or clockles when you get into the more advanced years, or even grid. So, you know, we always have a next level or layer that we can do. But it's another reason why I like to teach the EFT. First of all, it's very easy to teach and it's very easy to learn. Once you've been through the drill a few times, you've got it down. And this way, they have an assignment. I call it home health care. I don't like to say homework. Your home health care routine for this week, suggested, I would say I suggest that you do it. Not, you don't have to do it, or you have to do it or you can't come back. But this is what I suggest, because we all know that the body's tendency is to revert back to what's been its normal, right? So we have to keep reminding it. We have to do something that keeps it on track. So the EFT is great. Even though I'm still struggling with this grief, I still deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though I keep feeling sorry for myself because I've lost so many loved ones, I deeply and completely love and accept and forgive myself. Even though I'm staying stuck in my grief, I love and accept myself, and I now choose to know that I'm safe, and it's safe to let it go and move on with my life. And then this grief, you know, whatever you say on the different points. So they are proactively doing something, you know, and if they're more diligent about their home health care, things are going to move faster. But, you know, you can't be there when they go home and crack the whip. You can only hope that they'll be diligent about it. But when they're not, and if I feel like I've done everything I know how to do, you know, I think you need to see somebody else, I'm happy to do that. My feeling is there's plenty of people out there for all of us, and you're going to attract the people to you that are going to most benefit by what you can offer.
So Donna, I put on the PowerPoint slide that one testimonial from Alex about smoking, but I'm sure there are other people that have had dramatic changes. Can you share some of those that with either EFT or hypnosis or energy medicine or the combo of all of them?
Okay, so what I just have to say about Alex is he was my first guinea pig when I got back from hypnotherapy school. He was a good friend of mine. And it was kind of a marathon session. At that time, I would just like do it till, you know, like for hours and hours. I don't do sessions like that anymore. But he's still not smoking to this day. And he's still very grateful. So I want to also say it's easier for me to hypnotize somebody when their energies are balanced. So even if they're very adamant that they're coming in for hypnosis work, I want them to be as energetically balanced as possible, because that's going to allow them to relax into the trance more easily. People don't have to be in a deep state of trance to do very deep work. I'll also say that. One time I had a client who was actually an MD psychiatrist. And I'd done some energy work with her just to make sure her energies were moving forward. She wasn't homolateral and all of that. And then I was putting her into trance, and she got in touch with a memory that she had not shared with me before about a good friend of hers who had committed suicide. And she was very emotional. And I said, would it be okay if I tap on you? Okay, and she said, okay. I said, if at any point you don't like it, just tell me to stop. So I have this little traveling stool on wheels, and I wheeled right up to her. And when I tap on people when they're in trance, and I do it on the table when I'm doing energy work too, if they start to get into something sensitive, I ask the permission, and I'll touch the spot so they know where I'm coming, and then I do the tapping. I don't just come at them and start tapping. And so we tapped on her whole feeling guilty, you know, I should have known what to say. After all, I'm a psychiatrist, this kind of thing. And it went from, when I asked her level of distress in the beginning, I think it was like a 12. You know, I say from 1 to 10, she was like a 12. And at the end, she said, it's like it's not even there anymore. And that's what you're going for with the EFT. And it happens more often than not that, you know, yeah, it's like so far away right now. I'm not even feeling it. It's like, yes. But what puzzled me the most about her, she never said, what was that? How did you do that? Where can I learn it?
Yeah.
That just blew my mind. But they do really blend well together. You could be doing the best energy medicine session, but if you can tie it in to what they say they want to change in their life, and then give them an EFT routine to go with it for homework, very powerful, very, very powerful. I believe that if you don't change anything, nothing changes. And I tell my clients all the time, I wish I had a magic wand that I could just wave over you and make you all better. It doesn't work that way. This is a collaborative effort. Mm-hmm. You know, I can't do it without you. Your body's tendency is going to be to revert back to what's been its normal. You've got this energy called triple warmer that will resist change, even change that's good for you. It's really important for you to be in constant dialogue with your energy to affect permanent change. Is that what you want, permanent change? Well, this is what you need to do.
Donna, I love the idea of balancing the individual's energy before hypnotherapy. I mean, that just makes so much sense. I never thought of that before.
And then the other thing I would say is that with the hypnotherapy, you know, I often make an audio recording of the relaxation part of what we do so that they can practice the relaxation. And usually it's 15 or 20 minutes. But I like giving them the energy exercises because they're really short and really quick. You know, just maybe give them a couple. And I really like giving, you know, introducing them to that and getting them to do that. I just feel like it's so empowering to give them those exercises and to be able to show them that before you couldn't hold your arms sturdy, you did something silly, and all of a sudden you can hold your arms sturdy. Obviously, something's happening here. Obviously, your body is craving that. And look how fast your body balanced from this, right? Your body really wants to be balanced. It just needs some urging and some prodding from you once in a while.
Well, that sounds great. But what would you say, you know, if somebody doesn't have the hypnotherapy and EFT in their practice, what advice might you give to the practitioners that are really just starting out on this journey, and perhaps they start out with Eden Energy Medicine?
Yeah, a lot of people do, you know. Just realize that what you say and how you say it when they're in the relaxed state is extremely important. The subconscious mind takes everything it hears as the literal truth. It doesn't understand sarcasm. It doesn't understand puns. It doesn't understand, you know, that you're just trying to make a joke. So we end up hypnotizing ourselves in very negative ways. Most of us talk to ourselves in ways we would never talk to another person. So even without a hypnotherapy background, you listen to what your client's telling you, and then you point it out to them. Do you hear what you just said? Would you say that to your best friend?
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, I wouldn't say that to my best friend. Well, then is that fair? Why is it okay to say it to yourself? So you can point things out to them, how they're hypnotizing. This is self-hypnosis or brainwashing. And people tend to give themselves the same negative message over and over and over again. Like, I can't lose the weight. Well, guess what? Then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, because the subconscious mind now has this very powerful belief, I'm the one who can't lose the weight. And it just isn't going to happen if that belief is so deeply instilled.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to put things in the positive, and you want to encourage your clients to do that. And anybody can, you know, if you read Louise Hay, she's got all those wonderful positive affirmations, but you want to try to use the kinds of words that your client has used for you, or use their sensory type if you know it, in the phraseology that you use for these positive suggestions. You know, if you've got a tonal, you want to use sound words, you know, when you're giving something, a positive suggestion. Something that they can relate to, or something that sounds like something they would say to themselves. And there's lots of, you know, positive suggestions scripts out there, you know, that you could just Google. If you have a client with a specific situation, just Google a hypnosis script for, you know, anxiety or whatever it is, and you might get some really good ideas of some phraseology that you could use. You know, and it can't hurt anything. It can't hurt anybody.
Donna, I think you made a very interesting point when you were just speaking about the subconscious mind. And I think people don't always understand that no matter how many affirmations they do, if their subconscious mind is telling them something else, the affirmations are just sort of going out the window. So can you say a little bit more about that? Subconscious, conscious mind, affirmations, etc.
Yes, I'm so glad you asked me that. You know, anybody who's familiar with the laws of attraction and positive affirmations, most people just use the words, or maybe they have a vision board or an image. But what I've learned is that it's really important to be able to feel the feelings, feel how it would feel if I had this, or did this, or achieved that, okay? If you can access the feeling state, well, was there a time when you felt empowered, or you felt confident? Was there ever a situation? Most people can come up with something. Bring that, tell them, think about that. What does that feel like in the body? Again, you want to get them into the body and out of this. This is what keeps them stuck in their problems, thinking about things in the same way that they always have. What does it feel like? Can you describe it to me in a way that I can feel it too? Because they might say, well, it feels sad. I said, well, the way you register sad and the way I register sad could be totally different. What does that sadness feel like? And if they're stuck, I might say, well, does it feel heavy? Does it feel tight? Does it feel jumpy? I'll try to give them adjectives, you know, that they might be able to start to get the idea of what I'm going for. And then they'll say, oh, it just feels like a stabbing pain. Oh, okay, I can feel a stabbing pain. I get you. And just stay with it. Just breathe into it until it turns into its opposite. That's something you can say. And you don't know what its opposite is. It might not even make sense, whatever they come up with, but it means something to them. Otherwise, they wouldn't have come up with that.
Well, I just want to ask you, because you've been in this field a long time, are there valuable lessons that you've learned in all your years with the healing work that you would also share with many of the people just getting into Eden energy medicine and into the healing arts? There's so many women that tell me that when they retire from nursing or from teaching, that they want to go into the healing arts.
Yes. And I'm so glad you asked me that, because I wrote down lessons I've learned. So everybody that lands in your office has landed there for a reason. And even if they don't get the result that they wanted immediately, and they may never come back, just know that they were supposed to be there, and they were supposed to be there with you. And you may have planted a seed. You might have started something in motion, and you may never know where that may lead, but you've got to just trust the universe has a plan. Everything is rigged in your favor and theirs, and there was a reason the two of you came together. Don't second guess what you did during a session. I remember in the early days of my hypnosis, having a session, and they walked out, I was like, oh, did I do this? And I should have done that. And I was just beating myself up big time. And the next time she came in, she said, oh, Donna, that last session was the most powerful one we've had together yet. That was just so awesome. And I never forgot that. It's like, who am I to judge the quality for them of that work? So just remember, it happened the way it was supposed to. And whatever you did, it might not have clinched the deal you wanted to clinch at the time, but it opened something up so that the next time it can happen. Trust your guidance, okay? When I'm in a session, I'm kind of in awe. It's like, who just said that? Where did those words come from? And I know they didn't come from me. I know I'm blessed. I invoke Donna Eden and all my important teachers in my life before a session, just like what you were saying on the slide, you know. I'm just so grateful for the teachers that I've had. And then at the end of the session, I thank them for their participation. Sometimes I say it out loud with the client, you know, let's call in all the angels and guides and teachers and healers, ancestors that are here for you to join me and my angels, my guides, my teachers, so that I can conduct this session for the highest good of everyone involved. So that's really important to me in a session, to keep it. I'm not doing this alone. Even when I feel like, what am I going to do next? You just repeat what the client said to you last, and then they'll say something that tells you exactly. No, like I feel like an electrical buzz. Thank you. Now I know where to go next. I'm going to go to the electrics. You know, that might not have been on my radar at all. Trust the guidance. I remember doing aura work with somebody, doing every aura trick I knew, and I couldn't get her aura to get strong. What do I do? And the voice, to me, it's just words in my head. Check out her belt flow. And I'm like, well, what does that have to do with it? And in my energy medicine career. But I learned to trust the voice, check the belt flow. It was out, corrected the belt flow, rechecked the aura without doing anything else, and now the aura was strong. Trust the voice. If an idea pops in your head, or however you receive, you know, whether you see it like Donna, or you hear it, or you smell it, you taste it, trust it. It's telling you what you need to know. I think I already said, reminding your clients that the good news is that their bodies really do want to move to wellness, and they just need that urging and prodding that we can provide to remind the energies how to move in a balanced fashion. And so when you're feeling stuck and you don't know what to do next, check in with the client. How are you feeling right now? You know, can you describe it to me? How are you feeling? And they'll say that's something that tells you where to go next. I often remind clients, the universe really doesn't give us anything that we can't handle. And if at the time we think we can't handle it, we know that that's a triple warmer thing. And so you educate them about triple warmer. You give them all the tools you know for calming triple warmer down. And remind them that this too shall pass. Remember the last time you went through something that you didn't know how you were going to come out of the abyss of it, but you did. And things probably got better after that, even though you thought, you know, the world was going to end. So everything is temporary. Everything is temporary. I tell my clients, you have all the resources within you to create wellness in and around your body. The body's brilliant. It's an amazing mechanism. When they are presenting something, I always ask them, when did it start? What else was going on in your life when it started? Because that's often the key to the puzzle, that somehow it could be related to that. And you'll find a way to, no wonder it manifested like this. It's just so apropos to what you were going through. And we know so much more because of the meridian system, and we know what emotions are connected with which meridians, right? Another thing I like to tell my clients is a Buddhist expression. It's more important to want what you have than to have what you want. Think about that. It's more important to want what you have than to have what you want. We could only be grateful for what is instead of always aspiring for that grass is greener on the other side thing. You could probably, live a lot easier. And I always tell my clients, we make our lives way more complicated than they have to be. By all that projection, all that conjecture, all that make-believe crap that we let, that infinite loop of mind chatter, I call it. None of it's true. None of it's true. The only undisputable truth in any given moment is what you're physically feeling in your body through the senses, what you're seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, and kinesthetically feeling. Anything else is your made up stuff that you're buying into hook, line, and sinker, that you're making a major motion picture out of, where you are the screenwriter, the director, the producer, the star of the show, and it usually has a really crappy ending. Why play it? If you're going to make something up, Donna has said this too, best thing you can do when you're depressed, she said, is pretend that you're happy. If you're going to make something up, make it up with a happy scenario, not the doom and gloom worst case scenario. Teach that to your clients. They love it. When something corrects, when you're working with a client, something corrects, make sure you say, did you feel the difference when I pressed your arm that time? Did you feel the difference? Again, it gets them into their body, and they have to acknowledge, yes, I guess it worked. And I even say, yeah, I know, it's amazing, right? I still get amazed even after all this time. Does everybody feel that way?
Yeah. Yes, and something you just said is so true. And one of the things that I've heard Donna say, and you're saying it another way, is I remind clients that, when we do the muscle testing and they hold strong, I say to them, look how easily you corrected. So it gives them a confirmation of just what you said about how brilliant the body is as a healer.
And its desire to be balanced. That's all we're about, is bringing balance to the body, right? And that the rest takes care of itself. The rest takes care of itself. Oh, one more thing, sort of the hypnotist in me, when I'm ending a session, I don't just say, okay, get up. I say, okay, begin to stretch your arms, your hands, your fingers, your legs, your feet and toes. Sometimes I say, stretch the right side of your mouth up to your right eye and the left side of your mouth up to your left eye, so they smile. I said, and notice how you feel. You probably feel more relaxed than you felt all day. And if they've had a rough week or month, you might even say more relaxed than you felt all week or month. If you don't know that for a fact, don't say it, because it might not be true, but you can be pretty sure they're feeling better at that moment than they felt all day. And so again, it's good to sort of do an assessment when they first walk in. Well, how do you feel right now? And then ask them again at the end of the session so that they can compute the difference. Oh, and that reminds me of something. Has it happened to you where clients come in the next week or in a couple of weeks? You say, well, anything new or different since we last got together? No, nothing. And I have my notes there because I don't remember squat anymore. But I say, oh, so you're still having trouble sleeping? oh, and actually, no, I've been sleeping pretty well lately. Or you still have that indigestion every time after you eat dinner. As a matter of fact, that's gone away too. So you have to probe, because people just don't, it doesn't register, I guess, or I don't know what it is they're really expecting. But any subtle change, it is a big deal. It is a big deal if something is different as a result of something you did together.
When clients are resting at the end of the session, I take that opportunity to write a few notes about either what they brought in, what happened during the session, perhaps what techniques I might have used. But it's really helpful, as you said, Donna, because you see so many different people that I can look at that sheet and say, this is what they brought last time. Let me see how things are going since then, or if anything has changed. So it's really important to keep those notes, and also how you were doing that day.
Yes, I'm taking copious notes from the moment they walk in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever they're sharing, pretty much whatever I'm thinking is important that they're sharing with me, I'm jotting it down so I can refer back to it the next time. And usually I want to recheck what I did last time to see if it's holding. So I need to have it written down so I know what to recheck.
Yeah. So I want to ask you, I'm just curious, you did a course not too long ago on, was it Chinese face reading? I know you do so many different things, but I just wondered how you liked that and what you thought of it.
Oh, that was fabulous. So it was with Jean Hainer, who's written several books now, The Wisdom of Your Face, The Wisdom of Your Child's Face, and then, I can't think of the one about the 9-star key, and Your Hidden Symmetry. So it's great because it's all based on what we know, traditional Chinese medicine. Yeah. So you have features in your face that can identify you as wood, water, metal, etc. And also your birth date could show up something entirely different. For example, anybody who knows me in the energy medicine community puts me up as the epitome of the metal. Okay, I don't have metal in my birth date numbers, and I'm earth, water, and fire, believe it or not. But my fire position is either how others perceive me or how I am when I work. And I feel like it's true. When I teach, that's when my fire comes out.
Yeah.
And I always felt like I had earth in me, because just the way I relate to people, or the way I tend to draw people to me. And the water too, I can see when I go introspective and, just want to be alone kind of a thing. So it all computes. So the course was great because it gave me another tool to help me establish rapport with clients. So I always ask their birth date so I can figure out what their numbers mean, say about them, but also in their face. And then I can explain to them, it's not a bad thing, the way you react to this or the way you handle this. It's just the way you're wired. It's your challenge to see how you can be in the world as a wood, but not let that anger get the best of you, kind of a thing. Mm-hmm. It's just one more tool for me to get a sense of the person. And then I say, I'll bet you're the type of person that da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And they're like, oh, are you psychic? Well, maybe there's some of that, but more so it's I'm reading your face or telling you what your birth date numbers mean about you. And it's like right on. It's really pretty incredible. Jean Hainer, Haner, if you get the opportunity, especially now that you have the background in traditional Chinese medicine, you would really enjoy her course of study, I think.
So she's actually combining traditional Chinese medicine, the face reading, the 5 elements, and I guess also some numerology based on your birth date.
So it's not really numerology, but it is based on your birthday. It's not really astrology. They call it 9-star key, Ki.
Okay.
But it's all the basis is in the 5 elements in traditional Chinese medicine. Her first mother-in-law was Chinese and taught her face reading. You know, it's a very common, I guess, in that generation, practice in China. And it's extremely interesting.
Well, here we are in 21st century being guided by what, 5,000-year-old medicine.
Yes, don't you love it?
Yes, I do. So how about any closing comments you'd like to make, or suggestions for people that are in the healing arts or that would like to get into Eden energy medicine? Or I know when people, I know you've taught the foundation classes, and when people first get into all of this, they're totally overwhelmed by all of the information. How can you help them find the balance there?
Buy the DVDs from the classes and just run them, even if you're running them as background noise. Okay. When I started studying with Donna, no certification program. They would video the class, but it might be a year before those videos became available. And then I would watch them whenever they came, constantly. And like, really? Was I there for that? I don't even remember, because you're getting so much information.
Yes.
Sometimes I was the one on stage and I had no recollection of her demoing on me. So, you know, just watching those videos remind you of things that you might have sort of let, you know, fall by the wayside, you forgot about, or just hearing it again. Now you have a different context. You've been working with people, and you're gonna hear it a whole different way. This would be good for that client or this client. Do a study group, you know, get a mentor in the energy medicine community that you can bounce ideas off of. You know, even the advanced practitioners do that. So
Yes.
it's all helpful. You know, tune in to these dialogues that Elsie is creating. I mean, even if you just got one thing, even if one thing that I said hit home for you, I think that could be really valuable. I'm hoping at least one thing I said hit home for everybody. And I would also say that the better email to reach me is donnakemper@gmail.com. Use that one. That way I'd be sure to get your email. But please feel free to ask me questions, especially if something just wasn't clear. If it wasn't clear to you, it probably wasn't clear to a lot of people, and I'd be happy to clarify. I just get so excited, and there's so much, you know, I want to share. I do this with clients too. It's like, but that's a mistake. Don't feel like you have to do the whole shebang in one session.
Mm-hmm.
I might only get a third of the way through the daily routine and decide that's enough for that person. If I want to leave time for some EFT or for, you know, a grounding protocol or whatever, I don't try to do it all in one session. Plus, you want to dangle the carrots so that they come back, but you don't want to overwhelm them. You don't want to give them too much homework to start, unless, you know, they're a wood or they're fire and they can take it. But for some people, it would just feel too overwhelming and they won't do anything at all. I'd rather them do a little bit than nothing at all.
Well, Linda just wrote in. She said, thank you. I liked the relaxation question when you talked earlier about how you were working with that individual and checking with them to see how they felt before and after. And she also said that she felt everything we've shared tonight is great information. I want to comment that you mentioned a study group, and we have right in Morristown, New Jersey, we meet once a month. Paula Anderson, who is an acupuncturist and also an Eden energy medicine practitioner. Paula and I were roommates, and we went through the program together. So once a month, we go over the 5-minute routine, and then whatever season it is, we focus on those meridians. We share information, get people to experience different things. So that's a great idea to get together. Or if you're in the either the foundations or in the school in any way, to get together with a group and practice. That is so valuable. Practice on each other, set up dates. Boy, that's really helpful. You need somebody to organize that for you.
The sound got all funny there. I hope that all comes out.
Yeah. So go ahead, Donna. What were you going to say?
So I don't know. Sound had off, so it kind of distracted me. But I check in with my client periodically through the whole session. I'll stop and say hi with my client. As we're working, if any memories come up for you, or any colors, I hope you'll do that with me, because just having them talk about it is another way to help release whatever might be stuck. And if they start crying, I am thrilled, because that's the best energetic releases, an energy shift making actions is if they go into tears or whatever. You know, don't be afraid of that. That is a really good thing.
Thank you. Well, I'm so glad we had this opportunity to share time together, and especially with this live video, all this new technology that we're sharing. And I just want to remind everybody that, Donna, you can get some mentoring from Donna through, Skype, in person, via phone. And again, the best email is simply donnakemper@gmail.com. And you'll get the PDF slideshow, so it'll have all the information about Donna on that as well, and where you can reach me in New Jersey if you're locally in this area. So Donna, I don't know what else I can say, except it's been a great evening to share and hear your version of how you work with clients and integrate these fabulous technologies. And I would also say to everybody out there that even if you don't know EFT yet or haven't incorporated that into your practice, Donna Eden's temporal tap, which is in her book and which we learn, is absolutely fantastic for people, and easy and simple.
And I would also say, generally in the January class, David usually does a post class on EFT. I don't know if he's doing it this year, but well worth it. I mean, he's one of the masters, so take advantage.
Yes. Okay, so if anybody has any other questions, again, you can stick them in the chat box. Linda, thank you for all your comments. For all the other viewers, it was great to have you aboard. And I know that some of the people already contacted me and said they'd be listening afterwards. So we'll have the YouTube out around 9:30 tonight, and you can follow up with it and listen to it at any time. That's, again, another advantage of this fabulous technology, whether it's audio or video today, is being able to watch it whenever you feel like it. And I also like Donna's comment about listening to the videos of the classes over again, and you absolutely forget some of that information that comes in. So it's great to revisit it and to really formulate it in the way that you are going to work with it in your practice. Donna Eden encourages us to take all this, make it our own, and make it a part of who you are.
Very important.
Yeah. So Donna, any last words before we sign off?
Just have fun with it.
Okay, I would say the same thing. Just bring in that magic. Please don't forget to call in, as Donna said, your guides, that Eden Energy Medicine Grid, and all the guides working with you and them. And also just, remember to hire the universe. You'll have that prayer in your slideshow. You can formulate it in a way that works just right for you. So good night, everybody. Donna, thank you so much for sharing this time with me.
And thank you for inviting me, and thank you for all you do, Elsie. You're terrific.
Oh, thanks. Okay, good night, everybody.